2026 Fiqh of Hajj seminar, alhamdulillah. So first and foremost, alhamdulillah, this is an annual tradition that we have here at Islamic Center of New England with our beloved Shaykh Abdul Rahman going over the rites of Hajj and whatnot. So I also just wanted to ask a quick question. So can I just get a quick raise of hands on who is planning to go for Hajj this year? MashaAllah, about 95% of the sisters and about 95% of the brothers. So, I think we should all take this time and say alhamdulillah. Because as you know, it's been quite a journey, right? Some of us 8 months, some of us 6 months, and for the extremely blessed people, maybe less than that amount of time. This is with the Nusuk platform and things of that nature. It is no joke these days, and as you all know, the only way to go for Hajj now with the US passport is through the Nusuk platform. And the verification process and the e-wallet topping, and alhamdulillah, the stress is generally over, right? Now we're just sticking to the deen at this point. So I'm happy to have you all here today at ICNE. We're very happy to host you. Alhamdulillah, as you can see, this is a collaboration with the Saudi Hajj and Umrah organization, alhamdulillah. And can I just have a couple of people tell me which Hajj service provider you guys are using today for this year's Hajj, inshallah? Al-Raji Bank, yes. Saudiya, mashallah. Sira, mashallah. So these are all great groups, alhamdulillah, right? And who here has been in coordination with Dar es Salaam, Islamic World Travel for their Hajj this year? Anybody? One, two, a few folks here. Mashallah, great. So, awesome. So this masjid, alhamdulillah, we've always worked with Dar es Salaam closely with our Umrah trips as well as some of the Hajj logistics as well. And Shaykh Abdul Rahman himself has been a part of the Hajj program with Dar es Salaam. But anyway, if anyone has any questions on the logistics, I'll be here for the duration of the session. We're not going to go over logistics today necessarily during the presentation, but inherently, sometimes that is a part of what you're going to hear as you go over the rites of Hajj. So again, my name is Brother Tahreem. I have been with, alhamdulillah, I've been with Shaykh Abdul Rahman on Hajj before, so if anyone has any questions regarding logistics or anything of that nature for the upcoming trip, please feel free to find me and we can talk. But I will now go ahead and pass it over to our Imam, Shaykh Abdul Rahman, to tell us a little bit more, inshallah, or a little bit of a deep dive on the fiqh of Hajj. Jazakallah khairan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I get started, show of hands, how many of you have done more than one Hajj? Start off with a little higher. MashaAllah. More than one Hajj. MashaAllah. Ooh, this is going to be a tough crowd. How many of you have not done Hajj? And this is the first time. First timers. Okay. The third is, how many of you have been to Umrah? Been to Umrah. MashaAllah. It makes my job quite easy for those who have done Umrah. But inshallah, I'll try to accommodate the one who has the least experience going for Umrah and for Hajj, inshallah. So, with that, I will start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this a gathering of knowledge, a gathering of beneficial knowledge, and that we get ready spiritually and religiously to go and to perform the pilgrimage, the fard. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for all of you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of you and accept from all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of you and accept from all of you. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay, so before I start, just a quick heads up that this would be a kind of interactive session, inshallah. So I will go over the Umrah first, because that's what is most of you are going to be doing, inshallah, on your trip to Hajj. And then I will go into Hajj in detail, inshallah. So Umrah is like your practice of what is the essentials of Hajj. For example, there's tawaf, there's sa'i, and there's the things that are related to the ihram, what it is not permissible, is prohibited to do. So those things are very common in both. So if you get Umrah right, meaning that you understand the concept of ihram, you understand the concept of the things that are prohibited, you understand how the tawaf and sa'i is done, and then the rest, inshallah, that we will go over the rest of the Hajj. So we will focus first on Umrah, as you see. That is, we are going to do the Umrah guide. Just for me to kind of get a sense, how many of you are going to Medina first? Raise your hand. Medina first. So we have about half. And Mecca first, of course, will be the rest. So we have half and half. So if there were more or all going to Medina first, I will start with Medina. But in this case, inshallah, we'll do Umrah, do Hajj. And if we have time, we'll touch a little bit on your visit to Medina Munawwara, inshallah. طيب. So, whenever you are intending to go for Hajj, in general, 99, I would say even 0.9% of the people, they do Hajj and Umrah, which is called Qiran or Tamattu'. Very, subtle different that Qiran is what very few people do, which I have done once only, and it was very difficult, is that you do your ihram, you start your intention, and then you do your Umrah, and you only complete your ihram when you are done with your Hajj. So it's a very long duration. It could be anywhere from 5 to 6, 7, 8, 9 days. So it's a long duration. But most people do tamattu'. That's, I would say, all of the people who go for Hajj, they do Hajj tamattu', which is Umrah and then Hajj. So therefore, that's the reason why we start off with Umrah first. So we'll go into what is Umrah. Umrah has 4 components. 4 components. If you have done those 4, your Umrah is complete. Just always keep in mind 4 things, essential things for your Umrah. Number 1 is ihram. Number 2 is your tawaf. And number 3 is sa'i. And number 4 is trimming or shaving the hair of the head. So those are the 4 things. So what is ihram? Ihram is your intention that is coupled with saying the talbiyah. So what is ihram? Is making the intention of performing Umrah or Hajj with saying the talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. So that's ihram. Ihram, there's a term that we use ihram for men, the clothing that you're going to wear, the 2 pieces of cloth. Or for women, your regular clothing. So that's also called ihram, but that's the clothing of ihram. Ihram itself is intention and saying the talbiyah, right? So I intend to make Umrah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I intend to perform Hajj for the sake of Allah, or I intend to perform Umrah and Hajj for the sake of Allah. All of those intentions. So whatever intention you make, that intention itself is not sufficient for you to enter the state of ihram, meaning to become a muhrim. So you have the word ihram, which is the state. A muhrim is the person who is in that state. So you call the muhrim who is in a state of ihram. Now, just making that intention is, you are still not a muhrim, meaning you're not in a state of ihram and nothing applies to you yet until you say, Labbaik Allahumma. Now, a lot of the contemporary practice is that they do both together, meaning that you utter the words of your intention, and also you are saying the talbiyah, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. And that word is Labbaika Umratan. That I am here for you, Ya Allah, with my intention to enter into Umrah, the state of ihram of Umrah. So Ihram, it means to declare something unlawful upon oneself. So what are the things that are unlawful that are actually lawful? So Ihram is from making something haram that is already halal. What are the things that are haram, that are not permissible in the state of Ihram, that are halal? Yes, you have the youngest one. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, say it. Yeah, killing animals in anywhere, or hunting. Those are the things that are uncommon. What are the common things that are not permissible? Yeah, any perfume, fragrance, anything that has fragrance, that is essentially fragrance. So lemon juice or lemon fragrance, it's not intrinsically a fragrance. Like it's not predominantly or understood as, nobody puts perfume on lemon perfume. That's a flavor. So we have to distinguish between flavor and perfume. So any fragrance, okay, what are the other? Clipping the nails, that applies to everyone. What else? Shaving hair or plucking hair. So shaving or plucking or trimming. Any of those, it would not be permissible. So whether it's from the head or from any parts of the body, you should not. What else? Now there's gender specific as well. What would that be that is gender specific from our men? Yeah, you cannot wear anything that is known to be clothing, like normally a person would wear. What would that be? A hat, t-shirt, pants, shoes is not clothing. Undergarment like underwear, right? What else? Regular clothing. So anything that is socks, yes. Very good. And for women, there's no prohibition. They can wear anything that you would like to wear. So that's the clothing of ihram, and many things will apply for the men. For the women, you cannot cover the face, right? That's, even if you want to cover, it cannot be touching the face. So that would apply to both. So covering the head, that would not be permissible for men. So those are the things that are lawful in general. Ihram is making it haram, making it impermissible, right? Hajj is a little inversion of how we normally live our lives. It's a practice of going against what you normally like to do or would want to do. That's the Hajj practice. That's the thing that you do on a regular basis, right? You leave your home first and foremost, and then you even leave the regular clothing that you wear, the perfume that you put on, the way that you like to trim and beautify yourself. Leave all of that and go to Hajj. And therefore, al-Hajj al-Mabrur laysa lahu jazaa'un illa al-Jannah, that for an accepted Hajj, there is no bigger reward except that a person will enter into Jannah. So Jannah is the reward for Hajj. And the Prophet ﷺ said that, Allahumma hajjatan la riya'an fiha wa la sum'a. That, oh Allah, accept and make my Hajj a Hajj Mabrur, that I accepted Hajj, that there's no showing off, there's not ostentation, there's no willing or an anticipation for people to say, wow, Haji Sab, right? MashaAllah, Hajji or Hajja. That's only for the sake. So you're giving up everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the unlawful thing. Unlawful things that you have brought upon yourself as a rectification of your lower self. To make yourself, and that's why the person after Hajj, when he's going against everything that he wants or likes to do, then the reward that he comes back clean because he left everything behind. So, before Ihram, what are the things that you do to prepare yourself to enter into the state of Ihram? Now, for those who are going to Medina, You're going to go to Medina, enjoy yourself over there, and then as you are heading and ready to go to Mecca, these will apply to you. For those who are traveling from the United States or from wherever your origin is going to be for Hajj, for your Hajj trip, because some of you might be traveling from another country, so you would only do these things before you leave, and certain things you will leave for before entering in the state of Ihram, and inshallah I'll talk about that in a little bit. So it's sunnah to take a bath. So for those who are leaving like from here and you're going to go straight to Jeddah and then perform your Umrah, so you want to do all of these things, taking a bath before leaving. For those who are leaving from Medina, you do that before, in the morning or in the evening, whenever your departure is from Medina, you do that beforehand, taking a bath. It's recommended. If you don't have to, if you don't get a chance, if you're unable to, don't worry, okay? As we said, there's only 4 necessary things in Umrah. Once you have done those 4, you're good. The rest is all sunnah or mustahab, meaning that is prophetically recommended or is just a good thing to do. Mustahab it's recommended to do in general. To trim one's mustache and remove hair and nails and all of that. And you can put a lot of perfume on if you want to. It's totally fine before you enter the state of Ihram, right? Putting perfume on before Ihram is totally fine, and it's actually recommended to put some perfume on and to smell good, because you are honoring. In Hajj, you are going to be observing a lot of these symbolic things around you, places around you, and times that you will be in. And these are very important things. So for example, your Ihram, your state of Ihram is also one of the sha'air of Islam. You are going to Muzdalifah, you're going to Mina, you're going to Arafat, you're seeing the Kaaba, you're Maqam Ibrahim, you're in Safa and Marwa. These are all the sha'air of Allah. So you honor them. You azim sha'air Allah. Whoever has an honor, who honors these symbolic places, right? Like even when you're picking your pebbles for going to Jamarat, it is recommended that you wash them. Ta'zim, right? Ta'zim. Even when you go to the masjid, you have ta'zim. You honor the place. You don't just, look around. In front of the Kaaba, you honor the Kaaba. You look at the Kaaba. Because when you're in the mataf, right? Just sitting and looking at the Kaaba is also ibadah, act of worship. Because 120 blessings, they come down. 60 for the people making tawaf, 40 for the people who are active in ibadah, praying, and the rest is for those people who are just sitting looking at the Kaaba. So ta'zim, right? Honoring. The clothes of ihram, right? 2 pieces of cloth for the men and regular clothing for the women. Whatever you feel comfortable that you will be comfortable wearing. You can even wear socks if you want to. It's totally fine. For the men, only 2 pieces of clothing. You cannot cover your head, right? As we mentioned. And you will wear slippers that uncover your ankle and the bone right in front of it, right? So all around the ankle. That part, it should be uncovered, right? You cannot wear socks because it's going to cover your ankles. So it's best to wear regular slippers that you can easily find, and it's comfortable. Just in my experience, try to find a very comfortable shoes to wear, because it's going to be a lot of walking, a lot of especially during Hajj, you're going to have a lot of walking, and you don't want to have blisters in your foot while you're trying to focus on your ibadah, and now you're kind of so getting proper comfortable shoes it's very important. And one more thing. From today, if you haven't started, walk at least 10 to 12,000 steps. 12,000 is I would say minimum. Practice walking. Walk. Go for a long walk. Walk for half hour every morning or whatever. But increase that. Inshallah, you can thank me later. It really helps because a lot of walking. 25 to 35,000, that's the minimum that you will be walking. Some people even do more, 40,000, somewhere around that. So practice, get better at walking and make sure that your health is, that you can do ibadah, do your hajj with the best of health, inshallah. Okay, for women, we already talked about that. I'm going to go through this. It's a very long presentation. I'm not going to go through every single line, but I'm going to try to, inshallah, give you whatever it's important. So the 2 rak'ah sunnah before ihram. So once you have done that, from your home, you can do that. Or from where you're getting on your last leg of your travel. Let's say from here you're going to Dubai to Jeddah. From Dubai, and Dubai airport, you can pray your 2 rak'ah. You have done all of what we mentioned of taking a shower and all of that before you started your journey. And before getting on your last leg of your trip, of your itinerary, you pray your 2 rak'ah there. On some, I don't know, I think Saudi, I have the banner right there. But they used to have a masjid. They took out like 9 seats and they put a masjid there in the back of the plane. They're larger ones. So they have a masjid there, so you can actually go and pray properly. You can pray 2 rak'ats. So if you're on one of those flights, fine. Otherwise, no other airlines have a place to pray. So in general, you will pray those 2 rak'ats before you get on your last flight at the airport. If not, you can do it anytime before. It doesn't have to be right at the time when you're making your intention. Okay, so in those 2 rak'ats, قُلْ يَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ وَاللَّهُ أَحَدٌ قُلْ يَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ وَاللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. It's going to be recommended to read in every 2 rak'ats that you do, whether in Hajj or outside of Hajj. It's one of those, those rulings that apply to almost every 2 rak'ats. So let's say your 2 rak'ats before Fajr, right? قُلْ يَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ وَاللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. One of the shorter surahs, easy, almost all of us know it. So even for these 2 rak'ats, for the 2 rak'ats that you're going to pray after Tawaf, right? We're going to talk about that. And any 2 rak'ats that you pray Tahiyyatul Masjid anywhere, it's recommended. You don't have to. You can say any other surah. You can make a long surah. That's totally fine. Okay. Now, once you have reached the miqat, what is a miqat? A miqat, there are several places all around Mecca that it is designated for anyone who passes that particular area and they intend to do Hajj or Umrah. They cannot pass that point without being in a state of Ihram. Is that clear? So you cannot say that, I'm going to go to the clock tower and just take a good shower and take a good nap, and then I'm going to put on my ihram and I'm just going to do I want perfection in my umrah. You cannot do that. You have to be in a state of ihram before you pass any of these. So wherever direction you're coming from, once you reach this location, you cannot pass it unless you're in a state of ihram. So there are many. For those who are going to Jeddah, and most of you will be going to Jeddah first, except for those who are coming from Medina. The miqat will be Yalamlam, and normally they announce it. The pilot will announce, it's usually an hour 45 minutes before landing. The miqat is approaching, half hour before they will announce, or 1 hour before. In an hour, the miqat will be approaching, so make your intention. So you have done all the prerequisites, right, before you got on the plane, right? Now you just have to make your intention, and I'm going to keep asking you. Intention, talbiyah, they go together. One cannot exist without the other. So, labbaik Allahumma umratan, in this case, or when you are about to go for Hajj, labbaik Allahumma hajjatan. Or you could say, Oh Allah, I intend to make Umrah for your sake. Oh Allah, make it easy for me and accept from me. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and you say the whole thing. So either way, whatever is easy for you. In your Hajj, most probably, your group leader will say, okay, we're going to do a group intention. You can wait for that. But you don't have to depend only on when is it going to be announced. You have to also be aware of what you have to do, right? Because sometimes it's a long flight. I don't know where you're coming from a long distance, straight to Jeddah. Half of the people are sleeping, right? And the pilot did not announce or whatever. You have to be responsible for your own Umrah and your own Hajj. So that's why we have to learn these things before. So Yalamlam, that will be a half hour, about 45 minutes to an hour before landing in Jeddah. You will pass the miqat and you have to make your intention before that. You can make the intention as soon as the plane takes off, right? Your final flight to Jeddah, you can make the intention as soon as it takes off. That's fine. But once you make that intention and you say the talbiyah, all the restrictions will apply to you, which is, it could be just a few hours more, totally fine. Whatever works for you, inshallah. Now. You could, and in principle, that's what you do, but because the plane is flying 500 miles per hour, so normally they announce it a half hour, an hour before, so you can make the intention at that time. You can make it 10 hours before. You can make it even when you're leaving home, no problem, but all the restrictions are going to apply to you because you are in a state of ihram. You have already your two pieces of cloth on, your ihram on, and you have already done everything, and now you just have to do the talbiyah. So just keep it an hour or two before the miqat. If you are leaving from Medina, the miqat would be, where did it go? The miqat is here. It's called Abiyar Ali. Abiyar Ali. Abiyar Ali is right outside of Medina. So you do all of your prerequisites for the ihram, and then when you get on a train, it actually comes within 5 minutes. So as soon as the train leaves, in a couple minutes the miqat will come. So it's best to just do it as soon as you get on your train. Say the talbiyah and make the intention. If you are taking the bus or by road, it comes in like half hour. So it's right outside of the city. It's a huge masjid. It's called the Masjid al-Miqat. It's also known as Bir Ali or Abiyar Ali. There are many names. But it's a known miqat for the people coming from Medina. And then it takes several hours to get to Mecca. So you will do it very initially of your, you're going to say the intention and make the talbiyah at the initial part of your journey when you're coming from Medina. But if you're going to Jeddah by air, it's about an hour to 45 minutes before the miqat. All right? So, what do you usually say, what is recommended to say, or it's good to say, Allahumma inni uridu al-umrata fayassirha li wa taqabbalha minni. That's in Arabic. Oh Allah, I started off with this supplication. And just remember, these two supplications are the most powerful one and the useful ones. Because you can do that dua for anything that you're doing throughout your journey. Two things you ask. What are the two things? Oh Allah, accept from me and make it easy. If it's accepted but it's difficult, it's also a problem. If it's very easy but not accepted, bigger problem, right? So if it's easy and accepted, you're good. You're in good hands. You're good to go. So Allahumma inni uridu al-umrata, or Allahumma inni uridu al-hajja, or Allahumma inni uridu al-tawafa. Oh Allah, I intend to make tawaf, I intend to make sa'i, I intend to make umrah, I intend to make hajj. Oh Allah, make it easy for me and accept from me. This is a dua that you can do throughout your hajj, inshallah. If you get these two, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. For those who are going for the first time and never memorize this one, because this one is going to be your most common dhikr, remembering of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's recommended to say this as much as you can while you are in a state of ihram, right? You are in a state of ihram. What does that mean? As soon as you started, right? Allahumma inni uridu umrata, or Allahumma inni uridu al-hajja, fataqabbalha minni wa yassirha li, or Allah, I'm intending to make a hajj and umrah. May Allah make it easy for me and accept from me. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. After that, that's the best dhikr. One of the best dhikrs to say. Do it abundantly. A lot of times people do it once and they forget about it. You have to say it. You should say it more often. Like when you meet someone, when you get in the elevator, you're going up, you say it. You're coming down, you say it. You meet someone, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. It's like your remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and showing that you are in need of God. Labbaik. Oh Allah, I'm there for you. I'm present. I'm present. لا شريك لك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. Men would say it out loud, women would say it in a low voice. Right? So we'll move on to that. The forbidden acts in ihram, we already went over it, right? Of course, you want to make sure that you do not commit any sin, anything that is disliked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you are in the sacred state and a sacred place. Sacred place is Makkah, Medina, and all the places that you're going to be doing a Hajj. And sacred state, you are in a state of ihram. So everything multiplies both ways, right? Good or bad. So you want to stay away from sins. Foul language. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ حَجَّ فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. So no intimacy among spouses, or even talking about intimacy. So mentioning intimacy. That's rafath. Fusuq, foul language. Just always make sure to protect your tongue. Right? And jidal, fighting, argumentation. Hajj is sabr. You fasted, you prayed, you gave your zakat. Right? You did different types of obligatory actions that are monetary or physically. Hajj is a combination of all of them. So patience, there is patience in praying. There is patience in fasting. There is patience in giving your hard-earned money, right? Giving it out. Hajj is a combination of all of that. And it's even beyond that, where you're also protecting your tongue. You are patient on the people, on the environment, on the situation, on your conversation with other people, being with another person, right? Hajj is all about being, how do you upkeep yourself with other people, right? So la jidala, argumentation. It's so hard. This is the hardest part in your Hajj. The hardest part. The hardest part is not food. Sleeping is somewhat kind of hard. It's challenging, but you are in such a high state that you really don't care about getting enough sleep. But the most important, difficult part, it's not getting into argumentation with other people. Right? If there is something that logistically you were wronged from the organizers, reach out to them. Don't say, oh, it's Hajj, it's okay. It's okay. No, reach out to them. Voice your rights. You paid and they should take care of you. So if you see anything that is, but don't argue. Don't get angry. Don't start shouting and screaming, right? The bus is half hour late. So what? That's how it is. It's Hajj. Things they try to do their best to make sure that everything goes according to plan. But the plan over there is, your plan is that if anything is against your plan to just go along with it. Because traffic could be blocked for another half hour. There's nothing that the buses are right there, but they can't get through because there's blockage. So half hour wait, 1 hour wait, it's okay. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. If you don't like someone, don't like the way how someone is saying, be patient. Tell the person that have fear of Allah. Be nice and kind, but don't get into an argumentation. Say we'll meet after Hajj if it gets too bad. After we get cleared from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are free from sins. And after that you will forget. You will become really buddies and good friends, inshallah, and it will last for a long. A lot of times it happens in the beginning of the Hajj, like you don't understand one another, and small little things you get angry. SubhanAllah, this is my experience that at the end of the journey, they are like, they have plans for the rest of the year, where they're going to meet up and what they're going to do later on, and mashallah, so it's amazing. So don't worry too much about what's going to happen. You have done your due diligence, you have done your homework, inshallah, Allah will take care of the rest. So Those are the things that are prohibited. We are talking about perfume, removing any hair. If any of these things happen, don't worry, don't panic. Reach out to the scholar that is within your, inshallah, within every group there is usually a scholar that is there to answer any religious questions. You can ask them, what should I do in this situation? I put some perfume on, I use scented soap or shampoo or whatever I use, and by mistake, that's the most common mistake that people fall into, where, because you go to the hotel, any places they have these scented soap and shampoos and, gel and, other hand wash. So you want to be careful. Make sure that is, just smell it, make sure. But don't make it the biggest worry of your Hajj. That, I touched some perfume, what happened? My Hajj is nullified. No, don't worry. Inshallah, your Hajj is accepted. There's just penalties. You have to give sadaqah, give charity, whatever that may be. So don't worry too much. No? One more? You can comb, but it's not recommended, because ash'ath, the Hajj, is like going against the norm. So you don't comb your hair unless if it's really necessary. You have to put hair, you have long hair, right? And you want to put oil in it, and you want to kind of comb it so kind of you can make a braid or whatever you want to do. You want to make sure it stays intact, that's fine. But why it's not recommended? Because when you comb, hairs are going to come off. And then if it's more than 3, then there's a small penalty. If it's a lot more, little more penalty. But I'm not going into the penalties, because it becomes very sometimes complicated. Simple things become complicated. Yes. Yeah. If you do like this, it's fine. Yeah. When you make masah, when you wipe your head, that's fine. If it just falls, then it's fine. There's no penalty. We're all good? All right. So the forbidden things, the permissible things. What are the permissible things? We can just quickly look down the list. Can you wear a backpack? Yes. Can you wear something to hold your important documents around your waist? A waist belt? Yes, for both men and women. What else? Sunglasses, a mask if needed. Totally fine, right? If you are sleeping, you can use a quilt, whatever. It's just that while you're awake, you should avoid having the blanket all over your head, because your head is going to be covered and your face could also be touching the blanket or the quilt. So just avoid that if possible, all right? You don't have to worry too much about that. طيب. A bag? A backpack, something? Yeah, bag, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, any type of bag that you want to carry, whether it's on your shoulder or both shoulders, totally fine. Yeah. If you have a child, you want to put them in a carrier in front of you, totally fine. Because it's not clothing. No more clothing is not permissible for men. Yeah. Pins are fine. If you feel like that your ihram is not going to be, you want to make sure that it stays together, you can put a pin on it, fine. All right. So, now this is the summary of your umrah. The summary of your umrah. Ihram. So 2 rak'ats before ihram, sunnah. Your ghusl and the prerequisites before putting on your clothing for your ihram, sunnah. If you never got a chance and you want to go straight to your ihram, it's also fine. But it would be recommended to do the prerequisites. However, there are 4 things that are important. Like I mentioned in the beginning, 4 things for umrah. Ihram, tawaf, and then sa'i and halaq. Now, why are these? There are 2 separated and then 2 others that are separated. The first 2 is called the arkan, meaning that they are the utmost important aspects of umrah, and they are the fara'id, meaning that if you miss out on one of them, umrah is not even going to be counted. However, the last 2 are the wajibat, meaning they are important, they're one of the important parts, but they're not the integral part of umrah. So if someone forgot to do sa'i. And it happened. They forgot to just do tawaf, and because they were separated from the group, they just went and shaved, and they're just chilling before everyone. What happened? Where's everyone? Oh, I was supposed to do sa'i. Oh my. Totally fine. They can give them for that. If you leave a wajib, you give a dam, meaning you slaughter, you give or you pay for to have a lamb or a goat, a small animal slaughtered in Mecca. Okay, so and then halaq, shaving. If someone forgot to shave and after that they just went and they took off they showered and they shaved and everything, and then I was supposed to actually do halaq, shave the hair or trim the hair. That's also fine. They will do a dam, but your umrah will be accepted. So if you miss out on the latter two, there's a penalty. But if you miss out on one of the first two, then your umrah will not count. And tawaf also applies to hajj. Hajj is also tawaf and hajj. The tawaf of hajj is also an integral part of the hajj, and your hajj will not be complete if you miss out on that. Yes. Yeah, it just has to be done properly. All the first three have to be done before the fourth. Meaning that you will do tawaf, and do sa'i, and then you will come out of your ihram by trimming or shaving. So the amount for trimming or shaving is like you shave all the hair for the men, and for women and men, you can trim 1/3 of your index finger. That much, at least that much. Like you cannot just go and say, I'm just going to do it teeny tiny because I want to make sure I have that perfect size. And it should be at least 1/4, according to the Hanafiya, 1/4 of the head. And according to the Shafi'i school, even a few hair strength, you can just take it and trim it 1/3 of index finger, and that will be sufficient. Okay, so let's go into step-by-step Umrah. So, right, now we know the basics of Umrah. Now let's go step by step. There's a long, I will not go through that because it will be too much. But I will just explain it in a nutshell. When you get to Mecca, you want to make sure that you are in a state of wudu. Because when you do your Umrah, for your tawaf, and any tawaf that you will be doing later on, you have to be in a state of wudu. Right? You have to be in a state of wudu. You cannot just go without wudu and do Umrah. You have to be in a state of wudu. So when you leave from your hotel, or as soon as you get to your hotel, that's the first thing that you usually do from a logistical perspective, that you will go and enter and check in, and then take a shower, or if you need to take a shower, if you want to take a shower just because you had a long trip, or just make wudu. If you have to use the bathroom before that, you can do that. Or if you need to take some food, or you're hungry, whatever, you can do all of that. But you have to be in a state of wudu, and then you go and start with tawaf. Now, once you enter the haram, there's one thing that you want to do before you start anything, is that you find, or if the group can find a place where you want to be visible to the Kaaba. Right? You're able to see the Kaaba, and that's the first thing that you want to do. That you take a pause, find a place where you're not in the way of other people. A lot of people just enter, and right in the middle of people passing by, they just stand there making dua. So you don't want to be disturbing anyone. So either people are going to push you around, or guess who's going to come? Yallah Haji, Yallah. The police, they're going to come and push you. Because you're standing in the middle of the pathway. It's against the sunnah also. The Prophet ﷺ said that do not sit and stand and occupy the pathways of people. So find a place where nobody's going to disturb you, and you're not in between of people's traffic. You want to find that place and make dua. Take your time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with, make a dua. Now, once you have done that, you are going to start your tawaf. But before the tawaf, for the men, you're going to be in your ihram, right? And inshallah, if anybody would like to see how to put on the ihram, it's very simple. So you'll have your full ihram on, you'll take the ihram and do ittiba, meaning that you will take the ihram on your right side and put it under your arm and put it over your left shoulder. So that's called ittiba. So that's how you're going to start the procedure. And then you will go up to where you are kind of in front of the Hajar Aswad, the black stone. Now how do you don't even see it. And most of the time you won't even see it throughout your tawaf. So how do you know where the Hajar Aswad is? The green light. So there's a green light right behind it, right across from the black stone. So you just look at the green light and you can tell where it is. It's somewhere, yeah. So that's the black stone. So right across from it, you can also notice with those little, right on top of the Hajar Aswad, that so each corner has a different design. If you see it a few times, you will get to know, okay, now I'm Maqam Ibrahim, I'm on Hajar Aswad, now I'm Rukn Yamani or Rukn Shami or Rukn Iraqi, the 4 different corners of the Kaaba. So Rukn Yamani comes before the Hajar Aswad, right? But you want to be on the Hajar Aswad. From there you're going to start and you're going to do 7 times around the Kaaba. So the first thing you did, ittiba, and now you're coming right in front of the Kaaba. You are going to make the intention, if you haven't done yet. And again, you're going to make the intention of, you don't have to say it, but just in your mind or in your heart, just think about it. But it's good to say it, to utter it. That, oh Allah, I intend to do my tawaf or umrah. Oh Allah, make it easy for me and accept from me. Right? Now it's going to be easy and inshallah will be accepted. And then you raise your hand, Allahu Akbar. Or say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Or you can say Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. That's the second thing that you did. The third thing that you're going to do is istilam. So 3 things. One is particularly for the men, ittiba, that's preparation for tawaf. And then make the intention and saying Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, just like you pray, Allahu Akbar. And the third thing, istilam. Well, now what is istilam? You're going to be doing that throughout your tawaf. Istilam is that if you were in front of the Hajar Aswad, you would touch it and kiss it. Touch it with your hand and kiss. Or you will kiss it if you're able to get there. And most of the time you won't be able to. But from a distance, you will kind of assimilate, right? As if you're touching the Hajar Aswad, so you will go like this, you will kiss, and then continue. So 3 things you have already done, and now your tawaf started. Now once you start your tawaf is almost like prayer, meaning that you will not eat, drink, or talk about worldly things. Like, how is business, and how is the weather, and wow, look at that clock tower, it's beautiful. Right? And wow, this is an amazing place. And looking at the Kaaba, wow, what does that calligraphy say? No discussion. It doesn't break. It's not like it would nullify your tawaf, but it's almost like salat that you should not engage in any discussion. Unless if you're reciting dua, you're giving instructions and things like that. You should keep it to that. Engage in dua, making dua. Any dua throughout the Hajj and Umrah. Throughout the Hajj and Umrah, there's only one thing to say that is necessary. Anything other than that, it is highly recommended, or somewhat, like in general, recommended. So there's nothing fard. Nothing dua, no dua is fard throughout your Hajj and Umrah trip, except for one. Which one is that? Nope. Talbiyah. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك. That's the only one that is necessary. So let's say someone did not say any dua, just made the tawaf. They engaged in an act of worship. Even them just walking around, because just that walking is an act of worship. But it's recommended to just not be silent, make some dua. And of course, the easiest one would be رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. Throughout the Hajj and Umrah. Like there's a dua for Sa'i, there's a dua during the Tawaf, there's a dua after the Hajj, there's a dua when you enter, the dua that when you see the Kaaba. Right? Allahumma zid baytaka hadha tashrifan wa ta'aleem wa taqreeb. So if you know it, or if you have something to read from, fine. But my recommendation, during the Tawaf, don't have a phone or something that you're reading from. Why? Because if it's very crowded, someone is going to be pushing you and you're going to be stepping on someone. Because you're focused on making a dua and bumping and then stepping on someone. Sorry. That's where you're not going to be able to focus. So I don't recommend, but if someone is very good at, just kind of, quickly seeing what dua is next, that's fine. But to actively read from a book while, you're walking, it's a little difficult. So any dua that comes to your mind, that comes to your heart, a dua from a serious heart, that inshallah Allah is going to accept that dua. So you have gone all around the Kaaba, so you're going all around this and you will come back to this point. And then what are you going to do? Istilam. Every time that you pass by, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. And you keep going. Right? Don't stop. Just keep going. If you missed it, totally fine. It's only recommended. It's the sunnah. If you missed out on a sunnah, from a technical perspective, from the legality of that ruling, we say that it's okay. It's not okay to leave sunnah in the other meaning that whatever the Prophet ﷺ did, we should do it. Right? We have to do it. Right? But from a legal perspective, is your tawaf okay if you didn't do one istilam? Fine. If you didn't say Rabbana atina fid dunya, fine. Right? Yeah, you can face, if you're able to face towards the Kaaba and you do istilam, fine. If not, you can just go like this. Normally that's the easiest way as you're going, because people are continuously moving. So you just go like this, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, walhamd, and you keep going. Okay, so that's one, and then you go around 7 times. Again, Rabbana atina fid dunya, if you remember it, by the Rukn Yamani, between the Rukn Yamani and the Hajj Aswad, you say that. And then once you have completed your 7, this would be your 8th time coming to Hajar Aswad, to the black stone. Right? Once in the beginning and then one after every round. So that's 8. So meaning 8 times you're going to do istilam throughout your tawaf. Right? And then there's a 9th one that you would do before starting your sa'i, before heading to sa'i. If you are near the Hajar Aswad, you do it. If not, if you're on the other side, sometimes you're all the way on the other side of the Hajar Aswad, it's fine. If you're unable to, totally fine. You can actually do an istilam as you go to Marwa. Safa. Safa comes first. Once you go to Safa, sometimes it's open, sometimes it's not. Last time I was there, it was open. You could see the Kaaba. So you could actually do an istilam, because the Safa, where you start your sa'i, is parallel to Hajar Aswad. It's almost right there. So as you come into Safa, if you see, do istilam and you can go. If you're unable to, totally fine. You don't have to worry too much. So once you have completed your 8th istilam and your 7 times, now you're going to go to Maqam Ibrahim, nearby, behind it, aside from it, way on the other side, wherever you are comfortable. And there's a place, because they have designated places where you pray and nobody walks over there. The tawaf is beyond that. Find a place where you're safe and nobody's going to bump into you. Some people just go and start praying right in the front where people are walking, and then people walking in the front and bumping. You want to avoid any conflict. Anyone bothering you during your salat, or you bothering someone. Right? So you want to find a place where it's quiet. All people are praying. You just pray your 2 rak'ah. And that is going to be, if we go back, we said that in between there's 2 rak'ah of after tawaf. 2 rak'ahs after tawaf. Well, you'd say that then that's 5 things. Why did we say 4? Can anybody answer that? I will still stick with those only 4 things. How about that? What is this 5th one? Why there's a 5th one, but why it's not included? Yes. No, it's part of the tawaf. It's not part of your umrah. Okay? So let's say after umrah, you're in Mecca for 2-3 days and you want to go make tawaf, you will have to do a 2 rakat after that. So any tawaf, there's 2 rakats after that. Any tawaf, 2 rakats after that. It's not part of the umrah, it's part of the tawaf. So if you ever made tawaf, you have to pray those 2 rakats. Right? So that's important to know. Where are we? We completed that. And okay, tawaf. There you go. So that's kind of like the way how it's everything is placed there. So you have, after you finish your tawaf, the Hajar Aswad, right after that you will see Maqam Ibrahim. And that's where normally people pray, way behind somewhere over there, at the corner, at the sides of the mataf. So mataf, when we say mataf, it means the whole place around the Kaaba, before the building. The whole thing is called the mataf. So the platform where you go around, that whole thing is called the mataf. So at the corners, all around, they have places designated for prayer, for people praying like salah. The best action to do in Mecca is to do tawaf. It's even better than doing 2 rakats, tahiyyatul masjid. Because the tahiyyat, the greeting of the masjid for a person in Mecca is to do tawaf. But we don't have that luxury anymore. It's sometimes very difficult. Sometimes they don't allow people without ihram to go in the mataf. Then you have to do it on the building, right, the masjid part. It takes about an hour, 20 minutes on average. But in the mataf, it could be anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 minutes. That's kind of like the rough average. So you will pray anywhere, the 2 rakats. And then for Zamzam, there's Zamzam all over the haram. Anything inside the building, inside the masjid of Masjid al-Haram, to my knowledge, up to date, anything inside the masjid, it's all Zamzam. Any water that you find, fountains and those big gallons, they're all Zamzam. Anything outside of the masjid where they have taps and they have fountains, normally they are not Zamzam. In Mecca and also in Medina, both places. So if you're outside and you see those taps, if it doesn't say Zamzam, then it means it's just regular water. All right. So it's recommended to drink Zamzam after your tawaf. You don't have to if you forget and you don't want to. Totally fine. The sunnah is to drink some Zamzam water. My recommendation is do not drink too much. Bismillah. Why? Oh, you're going to have to go to the bathroom after that. And then in the middle of the sa'i, you're like struggling, should I finish or should I just go? So my practice, what it works for me, is that I drink a little bit of Zamzam after the tawaf. And then during sa'i, between Safa and Marwa, there's many stations for Zamzam throughout the sa'i, the mas'a, where you're going to do your sa'i. So you can always stop and drink. And I drink a little more, I drink a little more, I drink a little more. At the end, I drink as much as I can and then leave. So after that, you can just use the bathroom if you want to. So that's just a kind of a logistical aspect. Anyway, you're going to go to now for sa'i. Any questions regarding tawaf? Because that's very... Ramal, thank you. Thank you. I was going to mention that. So the rule is any tawaf that has sa'i after that, which is your umrah tawaf, there's a sa'i after that. Your hajj tawaf, there's a sa'i after that, right? Tawaful wada', for example, there's no sa'i after that, right? Regular tawaf. Your regular tawaf, anytime you enter the haram and you see it feasible, you want to do a tawaf, there's no sa'i after that. For those who are just doing hajj, they intended from here going there ifrad, which is almost very uncommon. They do ihram and they're only doing hajj. For that person, it's not necessary. It's recommended. However, if that person does not want to do sa'i after that, so those are the different types of tawafs. So any tawaf that has a sa'i after that, then you do ramal. Ramal is that you walk, brisk walk, meaning that you will walk a little faster, a little aggressive. Than your normal walk in the first 3 rounds of the Kaaba. Again, I missed it. Literally, I missed it to mention it. So it's not necessary. Your tawaf is totally fine. Also, in a state where it's like people are like really back to back, like it's very hard to do that, don't do it. And only for men, yes. Yeah. A little aggressively walk. So what's, from the way how I learned from my teachers is that you just go. You don't have to go. Some people they become too aggressive, but that's the way how I learned. So Ramal, it's recommended. You can, if you're unable to or you don't want to or for whatever reason, totally fine. So, yes. Can you wear slippers? Yes. For tawaf, it should be tahir, it should be clean. Clean from any filth, right? Like those shoes were not used like primarily in a bathroom, or if you used it once, you wash it, fine. Yeah. Because you're passing through the masjid, and also you're going to be in the mataf, doing an act of worship. Is like salat, just like you need to have wudu. Tahara is also important. You have to have tahara. So make sure that they are clean. But you can wear shoes, totally fine. Anything else? Any other questions? Tawaf? Yeah. You can take an extra pair, just like you take an extra pair of ihram. That's good. Okay, now sa'i. Sa'i is slightly different than tawaf. In tawaf, you have to have wudu. Without wudu, you cannot do tawaf, just like praying. Sa'i, however, you don't have to have wudu. It's recommended, it's good to have wudu, but you don't have to. I'm still on tawaf. Let's go all the way to sa'i, performing sa'i. Yeah. You don't have to have wudu, right? And certain, like talking, it's also allowed. Like the restrictions are a little lower, right? So for example, if you broke your wudu in between, like you did 2 rounds and you broke your wudu, fine, you can continue. No problem. Obviously, it's considered outside of the masjid, the mas'a, this place. The mas'a, it's outside of, it's not considered part of the masjid. So obviously you can wear shoes, totally fine. So you start from Safa. Safa is, that's Safa. So there are different floors. There are 5 floors. So there's a basement and then the first floor all the way to the top. So more or less it still looks like this. The second, technically the first floor, but for us it will be a second floor, where you can see part of the mountain. It's blocked off. So you go up there and you will start off first with a dua, facing towards the Qibla. And if you see the Kaaba, you do an istilam, the 9th istilam for the sa'i. And you're going to start your sa'i with a dua facing towards the Qibla. Take some time. If you find a quiet place, a place that you're not in the way of other people, right? If you do not find a place, just make a dua as you walking, because it's a wide turn. You go around. Yes. In my experience, if you go all the way, can you see the arrow? Okay. If you go all the way to the left, behind this pillar, there's a big pillar in the middle. Way behind, there's usually space there where it's quiet. You can actually go and make a dua. But don't spend too much time. Make a short dua. And you make the intention after that, oh Allah, I'm making the sa'i for my umrah. Oh Allah, make it easy for me and accept from me. Right? And you start. It looks a little bit like this in the basement of Marwa. But on the upper floors, it's just a platform. You just walk around. You don't see much. There's a little place where a little patch, they left it raw. People go and stand on it, but they block it off at some point. But this is how Marwa looks in the basement. Most people don't go in the basement, but it's very quiet, and it's a little tight also. Okay, so you say Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. You face the Qibla, and those are the things that you do for sa'i. You start your sa'i, and you will run between the milayn akhdarain. There's green lights you would see as you start from Safa. It comes a little relatively quicker because it's closer to Safa. You will see a green lights. For men, you will run, and women will just walk. If you are a couple, your family, the men will run and then kind of slow down as they reach to the end, and the women folk or the rest will catch up. Also for elderly people or for those who don't want to run. Once you reach to... No. The ramal and ittiba is only for tawaf, not for sa'i. And then when you reach to Marwa, you're going to this place. You're going to stand over there as well, where if you find a place where you can easily make dua, facing towards the Qibla, you'll make a dua, short dua. You can ask anything, and then you continue back. There's a dua to say between the milayn akhdarain, under those green lights. رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ وَتَجَاوَزْ عَمَّا تَعْلَمْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْأَكْرَمُ. If you remember that. If not, then any dua is fine. Inshallah. Once you have reached from Marwa back to Safa, again you will make a dua, stand there, make a quick dua, and then continue. If you don't get a chance to make dua in either places, that's also fine. You can make dua as you're making that loop around, because it's a long loop. It takes a while on both sides. So as you're making that loop slowly, you make your dua, right? And you will then finish at Marwa, meaning that you start at Safa, right? At this place, Safa, right? That is right across from the black stone, and Marwa is 1, and then back 2, Safa to Marwa 3, Marwa to Safa 4, and that's how you'll count all the way until you finish 7th at Marwa. So, and then from there you will make your way back. Now at the end of your sa'i, if you're able to, and there is space and you're not in the way of other people, you can pray 2 rak'at, shukran lillah. Just like you make dua, you make 2 rak'ats after any accomplishment. You can make it if you want to. Some of the scholars recommend to pray 2 rak'at, but it's not part of Umrah. That 2 rak'ats is not part of Umrah. It's just shukran lillah, to be great, to show your gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing you to visit His house and perform Umrah. So that concludes your Umrah. Now there's a 4th thing that is part of Umrah, but it's also your exit door from Ihram. Meaning that your Umrah is somewhat complete, but to complete the act, you have to exit from Ihram. Because the Umrah only can be done in a state of Ihram. So to exit, for women, we already mentioned, trim the hair. And for men, either trim or shave. My recommendation, if you are, and most of you or all of you are going to do Hajj and Umrah, for Umrah you can trim, and then for Hajj, since it's already short, then you shave. So you get the reward of doing both. Right? مُحَلِّقِينَ رُؤُسَهُمْ وَمُقَصِّرِينَ. Right? So that concludes your Umrah. Yes. 1/3 of your index finger at least. 1/4 of the hair, or a few hairs, according to the Shafi'i school. So if you follow a Hanafi, then at least 1/4, but it's best to gather most of the hair and just trim, an inch, less than an inch, a little less than an inch. Vice versa, all good. Someone who's in Ihram can trim the hair of another person. Yeah, a lot of people have, concerns about that, but it's totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah. If you have a trimmer, you can do it yourself if you're able to. But for women, it's usually easy practice that, a few women kind of, go in one of their rooms and trim the hair quickly. Or have your husbands or someone from your family member do it for you. No. Yes. So, like I mentioned, that your shaving or trimming is your exit from ihram. It's the exit of ihram, meaning that you're coming out of this ihram, and then later on for Hajj you're going to do another ihram. You're going to enter another state of ihram. Right? So, let's say if you are doing Hajj Tamattu, which most of you, all of you are doing, so you could say labbaika لبيك حجة لبيك عمرة متمتعا إلى حجة. That, oh Allah, I intend to get in a state of ihram for umrah, and this will be a tamattu'. Tamattu', it means to benefit. That's the literal meaning of tamattu', to benefit. Meaning that you come out of one ihram, you kind of live normal, wear normal, everything normal, and then you get back into ihram. So mutamatti'an, benefiting until another Hajj, another ihram for Hajj. Right? Yeah. If you're doing Qiran, then you skip this last part. So you won't do your halaq or qasr. Because you have already completed your Umrah and you are not getting out of the ihram and you are continuing your Hajj until Hajj. So therefore you don't have to, that doesn't apply to you. Qiran, for Qiran, it's very difficult. Think about it twice before if you want to try. But that's the most afdal. The best Hajj is Hajj Qiran. That you do one ihram and you do both. That's the most fadila because it's more difficult. According to the Shafi'iyya, Hajj Ifrad is afdal. It's best. Because you're going with one ihram and only the ihram for Hajj. You're not doing Umrah. You're just going to go there and do your tawaf al-qudum, right? And then you're going to stay in ihram all the way until Hajj. That's how you do Hajj Qiran. Right? Okay, so that completes our Umrah. So before we get into Hajj, I'm going to go over it very short and just, a brief summary, inshallah. Any other questions regarding Umrah? All good? Yes, that's a good comment. That after you have completed your tawaf, or even after the first three, you can actually cover your shoulders. You don't have to keep it because you're not doing. The purpose of that ittiba' is to do ramal, so you can do ramal. So that's why if after three, if you want to cover the whole thing, that's fine. But for when you come to pray your 2 rak'at, you will cover your shoulders. Yeah. If you want to take a break during tawaf, can you take a break? Break for salah, break for renewing your wudu, break to go to the bathroom, break to feeling thirsty, you want to go and drink some water, tired, do you want to take a break? All good. So wherever you stop, you take a break, and then you come back and start from the same place. And if you forget, just start from Hajar Aswad. Let's say you know for sure you did 3 and now you couldn't figure out where did you stop after the 3rd one. You just consider 3 complete and you start from Hajar Aswad as your 4th one. Yeah. Whichever one of you want to go first. You want to go first? Yes, you, yeah. If you are with a group, most probably they will do it together as a group. But if you're by yourself, you will do it by yourself. Even if you're with a group, if you want to do it by yourself and you know what you're doing, go for it. whichever group, because within the Saudi they have many groups that you'll be part of, and you will have one leader. So the leader will tell you that whether they're gonna do Umrah together or everybody's gonna do their individual thing. Normally they will do it in a group, and they will have like transmitters just to kind of hear what the leader is saying or what the group leader is doing. Whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah. Can women wear wudu socks? They can wear any socks. Any socks is fine. Anything else? I don't want to get into all the details of socks, okay? Keep it for Hajj. Let's go into Hajj. The Hajj guide. Let's look at this hadith. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, أَيُّ الْأَعْمَالِ أَفْضَلِ? Which of the actions are the best in sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The Prophet ﷺ replied, believing in Allah and His Messenger. And then he said, what's after that? He said, jihadun fi sabilillah, striving in the path of God, whether physically or spiritually. And then after that, which one is the best? Hajjun mabrur, an accepted Hajj. An accepted Hajj. So, Hajj al-mabrur, laysa law jazaa'un ila al-jannah. Right? Kafaratan lima baynahuma. So those are the ahadith. Whoever performs Hajj and does not use foul language, he does not engage in any intimacy, he returns as if the day that he was born. The day that he was born. Meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives all sins. So we will look at this chart and we will go over inshallah all of the items in this chart, because this is your Hajj, an overview. I'll try to see if I can get my screen, because I can barely see my own screen. Okay, that's clear up there. So, Ihram for Hajj. Now, it's going to be the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. So your Hajj is 8, 9, 10, 11, and the 12th. 5 days of Hajj. 5 days is normally the general. It could be a 6th day, but normally 5 days of Hajj. The 8th day, it's nothing is required on the 8th day of the Hijjah, right? But entering into the Ihram, that would be an obligation, whether you're entering the 8th or the 9th. But before you can start your Hajj, before you can go to Arafat, for example, that's the rukun, that's the most important part of your Hajj, you cannot do any of those actions without making an intention. So if someone went to Arafat, right, and they want to do Hajj now, but they stayed there the whole time and never made the intention and never said the talbiyah, the Hajj is not accepted. They have no Hajj. So the intention and the talbiyah, just like we did for ihram for the umrah, the same would apply for Hajj. So normally on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, and sometimes they even do an early, like 7th of Dhul Hijjah, right? They will say that we're all going to Mina. Like the night before the 8th, let's go, because of the logistical aspects, because they have to, bring in the Hujjaj, so they have timings to come to Mina. So they will send you like the night before, which is technically the 7th. That's fine. So, but whenever you start going to Mina, it's best to go in a state of Ihram, that you have done all the prerequisites for your Ihram, took a shower and everything applies the same. And then you make the intention, you say the talbiyah, and now you are in Mina. And you will spend 24 hours more or less in Mina, which is not necessary. It's not a wajib, right? Right? It says wuquf Mina on the 8th. It's sunnah, meaning that if someone is not feeling well, right? The whole group is in Mina on the 8th, but you are still at your hotel. It's totally fine. You can go the next day straight to Arafat, and your Hajj is still complete. But it's sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ stayed in Mina and prayed 5 salats. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and the Fajr of the 9th of the Hijjah, which is also called Yawmun Nahar. Sorry, Yawmu Arafah. Yawm Arafah, that 9th of the Hijjah. So you will spend more or less 24 hours there. The next day you will go to Arafat, which is what? A fard. And this is the most important fard. So there are a few faraid in Hajj. This is the most important part. Whoever misses Arafat, there is no Hajj. However, it's very easy, it's hard to miss Arafat because the timing that a person must be in Arafat, even for a second, before sunset is wajib. But if someone could not get to Arafat even sunset, they can still go all the way until the night. Until all the way midnight. After midnight, but before the break of dawn, Fajr. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Fajr, He says, وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ. So Allah separates the morning of 10th of Dhul Hijjah, because this is the only day that does not have a night that follows it. Right? It's only a day without the night, because the night, it follows the previous day. Because if someone couldn't make it to Arafat during the day and they only made it after sunset, their Arafat is still, their Hajj is still intact. They're good to go. However, if you are in Arafat, you cannot leave before sunset. So that's the wajib. Does it say you there? No, Muzdalifah is different. We're talking about Arafat. No, that's Wuquf Arafah is the fard. So there are two parts. One is to be in Arafat even for a second after Dhuhr time enters. So that's fard. If you were there after the adhan, you were there even for like a minute or two and then left, your Hajj is complete. The wajib is to stay until sunset. So fard is to be in Arafat, and the wajib would be, meaning it's necessary to stay until sunset. And the system, the way how it works over there, whether you're taking a train or a bus from Mina, is that you would not leave Arafat before sunset. So if, for example, and it happens a lot, that an hour before sunset, they will say, let's go. The leader says, we have given a green light that we have to move. And you move. You walk. Walk to one place and then walk back and then walk around and then you get to the train station. That whole time is going to take about an hour. And you will not get in the train before sunset. Right? So they make people leave earlier, an hour and a half before sunset. So once sunset, they get on the trains and move to Muzdalifah. Just for logistics, so they can get all the people out in time. And it goes all the way until almost like midnight, depending on what time they gave you, your group is going to go. So don't worry if you are told to leave an hour before sunset. Don't worry. Continue making your dua, continue making everything, your adhkar, everything, until you get on the train after sunset, or until you reach sunset. So those two things are kind of separate, but they're kind of like they go hand in hand. Is that clear? So in Arafat, in Mina, you're going to pray 5 salats, you're going to do your thing, you're going to meet people, greet people, do ibadah, listen to lectures and all that. And by the way, the reason why I'm just doing an overview, because there's going to be your Umrah is going to be the first thing, and if you miss out, you already have everything. But for Hajj, you have the Imams, you have their leaders, and there are going to be workshops, inshallah, once you have done your Umrah during your trip, inshallah. So from Mina, you went to Arafat, and you spent the whole day over there. You will pray your Dhuhr and Asr. Nowadays, in most camps that you're going to be in, you will pray your Dhuhr and Asr together. There will be a khutbah, they will do adhan, they will pray Dhuhr, And then after that, they will make another adhan and iqamah, and pray there. Asr. You can follow, and you should follow your group. Whatever your group is doing, you follow them. Right? Don't say, oh no, I'm going to go out and do my own thing. So that's one thing in Arafat. The second thing, if you get to Arafat early, sometimes they make you leave like midnight on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, following the 9th. So you spend the whole day in Mina. Sometimes midnight, they will say, let's go. Because they give you the time, like, they don't give you a lot of, there's no specific timing. So they only see how things are moving, and according to that, they give an approximate window that between 3 and 5, just be ready. Or between 12 and 3, be ready. Right? So forget about sleeping once you reach Mina. After the 8th, and including the 9th, all the way until the morning of Dhul Hijjah, forget about sleeping. If you get 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, avail it, sleep, get enough. And if you don't, keep going. Trust me, you won't feel sleepy. And once you feel sleepy, you will just fall asleep. You don't have to work for it. Especially on the 10th, because you're so exhausted and tired. But if you are there early morning on the 9th of Arafah, on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, you had the whole morning. Get some rest if you want to. Engage in ibadah. Don't sit around and chat and talk about all kinds of things. You have the whole rest of your life to do that. And you had a lot of part of your life to do that. Try to avail the time that you have, make ibadah, ask Allah for guidance, and make dua for everyone. Get some rest. Take a shower if you can, if you want to, if you feel like. It's kind of mustahab, is recommended on a day of Arafah, before the midday starts, because that's the actual time. If you have a chance, you go to the bathroom. A lot of times they have bathroom and shower combo. Just to refresh them. Just to refresh, you can take a shower. You can take a shower throughout the ihram anytime you want. Totally fine. Like you're feeling tired, you're feeling sweaty, you're not feeling well, go take a fresh shower and come back. Anytime you go to the bathroom, you can take a shower. Totally fine. So for Yawm Arafah, to ta'zeem of Yawm Arafah, it is the Prophet ﷺ took a shower. In his ihram, he took a shower, and he started his wuquf. So the wuquf starts after you prayed your dhuhr and asr. Now wuquf, it doesn't mean to stand up and pray. Wuquf, it means to make dua and to plead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from dhuhr all the way until maghrib, until sunset. Engage in dua and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Reading Quran, doing any type of acts of worship. You would not do salah, because after asr, it's not recommended to pray, to do like regular salah. But other prayers, for example, du'as and reading Quran, and one thing I usually recommend people to, during your Hajj, is to make an intention to complete at least one Quran during your trip. At least one Quran. And while you're in Medina, do at least 1,000 salawat. At least 1,000 salawat on the Prophet ﷺ while you're in Medina. Yes. So there are two different things. But yeah, you're right in terms of shortening the salah, because most of you are going to be a traveler, although you're still in Mina and you're not doing much, you're not traveling, you're not going anywhere during those 5 salats. But you are still considered a musafir. So therefore, usually the imam will just do 2 rakats and then 3 for maghrib. Yeah, it will be done at their own time. Throughout the trip, because there is a slight difference of opinion about combining the salat between the Shafi and the Hanafi school. Shafis are usually very flexible, that once you are a traveler, you can combine your salah. The Hanafis are a little more strict on that. So, but if your whole group is doing a combined, for example, Dhuhr and Asr in Mina if they want, if that's what their plan is and that's what they announce. Usually they don't, but sometimes they do. Or if you are traveling from Medina and it's Dhuhr time, normally they will pray Dhuhr and Asr together. If the whole group is doing that, you do that as well. But if you are certain that you can pray your Asr and Asr time, by all means. But it's best to go with what the group is doing. But normally in Arafat, they will combine Dhuhr and Asr, and always, all the time, everyone is going to combine Maghrib and Isha in Muzdalifah. Okay? Always. That's ta'khir in Muzdalifah. So we finished with Arafat. We move to Muzdalifah. When we get to Muzdalifah, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get ready to pray your Maghrib and Isha together. It's always also done in Isha time. Meaning that one time it happened that I took a bus actually, and it was like right at sunset. We said, let's go. We got it. It never happened, and it's very uncommon. We got on the bus. We were the first ones out, the first ones on the bus, the first ones to kind of quickly get to Muzdalifah. We got there in 15 minutes. And we had to go and sit and wait for Isha. And nobody's around us. And how did this happen? Wow. I mean, we were just kind of lucky to be the first ones to be out. But we had to wait. So we got there, we took a shower, we went to the bathroom, everything. And then we said, okay, let's eat. Then we had a dinner. And then we prayed our Maghrib and Isha as soon as the time came in, and our leader said, everybody go to sleep right away. Everybody went to sleep, and within 2 hours all the people, that is loud, and everybody woke up. And we're rested. 2 hours is more than enough in Muzdalifah. If you get 2 hours, mashallah, you're lucky. And we are wide awake, and what we did, now everybody's getting ready, everybody's going to sleep, and we got up and prayed tahajjud. All of us praying tahajjud, everybody's trying to find place, So Muzdalifah, it's the most humbling place. It's the place where you're downgraded gradually. 5-star hotel, right? Mina, mashallah, nice. Everything air conditioned, beautiful, nice bathrooms. Arafat is also kind of getting also luxurious nowadays. But it's a little downgrade. And then from Arafat, you come to Muzdalifah, nothing. Like real camping under the stars. You look at the stars, anywhere you find, put your bedding out, go to sleep. And you sleep very well actually. That time is amazing. That every time is so much barakah. Even if you get on 1 hour of sleep, you feel fresh getting up. As if you slept for 8 hours. If you don't get to sleep, that's fine. It's Hajj, right? Patience. So you will first pray Maghrib and Isha time, and then the second thing that you will do is collect your stones, your pebbles from Muzdalifah. Nowadays they give you this, everything is luxurious, right? They give you a pouch, like a candy pouch with your pebbles in it. You can use that. If you want to go and find your own, you can go. One time they gave us from 3 different companies, they gave us 3 different packets. And but you want to collect 49 or 70. So 49 or 70, why? Because if there is a third, if you are staying beyond the 12 and you're doing the 13th, you will need another 21. So it's 7, 21, and 21. Did I do the math right? So 49 in general, but if you're doing more, if you're doing the 13th, which less than 1/4 of the Hujjaj do, then you would do 70. So normally it's good to have 70 just in case. But whatever your package says that you're going to be in Mina on the 13th, then you will have to do the 13th as well. Darami, we'll talk about that. So those are the 2 main things that you will do in Muzdalifah. And then there's the third wajib. There's the third important thing that he will do in Muzdalifah, which is called Wuquf Muzdalifah, not the number 9. Wuquf Muzdalifah. What is the wuquf of Muzdalifah? Let's say someone came 1 hour before Fajr time. For whatever reason, they couldn't make it, and it happens that they don't make it to Muzdalifah until the last part of the night. They got there, first thing, prayed Maghrib and Isha, and Fajr is just about to enter. Once Fajr enters, praying Fajr and making dua or being in Muzdalifah even for a couple minutes, that's wuquf Muzdalifah, and that's wajib. Now there's a slight difference between the Shafi'i and the Hanafi fiqh. Normally it's the Shafi'i Hanafi. Sometimes there's others as well. But those are the most common ones. So in the Hanafi school, the dominant opinion is that the wuquful Muzdalifah, the Muzdalifah wajib, is after the break of dawn and after praying Fajr Salat, even for a few minutes to make dua. Your wajib is complete. According to the Shafi'iyya, you can leave after midnight. So if you got there early and you stayed there for an hour, 2 or 3, and after midnight you want to leave, you can leave. And your wuquf Muzdalifah will be complete. Right? So, difference of opinion. However, follow your group. If your group leader and everyone is leaving by midnight, you can leave. You can follow them. But if they're all staying until Fajr and they're praying Fajr there and they're going to make a short dua after Fajr, do that. If you take in the train, sometimes they leave before Fajr and they go pray Fajr somewhere near the train station, and then from there they head back to Mina. So whatever works for you. So now you have done your wuquf Muzdalifah. Sorry, that was not 9. Sorry. That was 4. We're still on 4. Okay. Okay, so let's come to the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. It was 8th in Mina, the 9th morning you went to Arafat, or the night before, you spend the day, and then you spend the night in Muzdalifah. Now you're back to Muzdalifah the next morning on the 10th, so it's the 10th. Now the 10th is where most of the actions happen, but they are very rapid, they're very quick. Some of them, you don't even do it. So when we say the most things happen on the 10th, meaning that most of the actions are done, executed on the 10th of the Hijjah. So, you do Rami, the 7 pebbles at the last one that you're going to reach, right? And you cannot miss it, and you cannot mistaken the first and the second one because it's blocked off the first day on the 10th of the Hijjah. You will always go to the last one. You just can't make that mistake. So, you throw 7 pebbles, right? The second is that you're going to slaughter, which you will not be engaged. It's just going to happen on your behalf, right? And the third, it will be your shaving or trimming, just like we mentioned for your Umrah. Do it yourself, have someone do it, have the barber do it, anyone can do it. So that's 3. And then there is Tawaf al-Ifada. It's also known as Tawaf al-Hajj. And there's a third name. Tawaf al-Ziyarah. So if someone says Tawaf al-Ziyarah, what's Tawaf al-Ziyarah? It's the same as Tawaf al-Hajj. Tawaf al-Hajj is the same as Tawaf al-Ifada. They're all the same, different names. Meaning the Tawaf of Hajj. So that's the 4th thing. Now this could be delayed until the 3rd day, meaning the 10th, 11th, and the 12th. Whenever your group, the plan is for you to go to Mecca. Sometimes they do it the same day, sometimes they do it in the night, sometimes the next day, sometimes the next day evening, depending on whenever. So that's the 4th thing that you'll be doing on your 10th. And then after that, of course, there is the sa'i for that tawaf. So there's a lot of things, right? So if you're doing all of that in the same day, mashallah, you're doing a lot. After that, your Hajj is almost complete, but you have 3 more things to do after that, after the 10th, which is throwing the pebbles on the 11th, on all 3, 7, 7, 7, 21. The 12, 7, 7, 7, 7, 21. And if you have the 13th day, it happens. Many groups actually stay. That's how their itinerary is, because from there they're going straight to Jeddah, they're going back home, they're going to Medina, whatever the plan may be, right? If you are staying until the next morning and Fajr enters of the 13th, then you have to go and throw your pebbles. But if you leave before that, then you don't have to. فَمَنْ تَمَتَّعَ فِي يَوْمَيْنِ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ وَمَنْ تَأَخَّرَ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. So both are okay. You could do the 13th, and if you don't want to, you can leave on the 12th. And most of the people actually leave after the 12th. And then after that, the last thing that you will do as part of your Hajj is the farewell tawaf that is called Tawaful Wada', the last one. Tawaful Wada'. Whether you are leaving to Medina or you're going back home, whichever one. Now a lot of people, and it's a very common thing, and that's how it should be, is that the last thing before you leave Mecca, whether you're leaving on the 13th, 15th, the 20th, like some people stay for a week or 2 weeks after Hajj in Mecca, the last thing that they do before they leave is do tawaf 7 times around the Kaaba and then pray 2 rak'ats after that. However, if someone wants to do it earlier, it is permissible. And this is very helpful for women who then have their periods and they cannot, they don't have that leverage, right, to delay it until the end. They could do it earlier. But if it occurs before that, before they did their tawaf al-wada', the farewell tawaf, then it will not apply. But if you just want to kind of get it done, be done, it's permissible. But tawaf al-wada', that's the name of the tawaf, the farewell tawaf, meaning that the last thing that you do before you leave Mecca. So it's recommended not to do anything after that. That after that tawaf, you just go to your room, get your luggage, and depart. Normal clothes, yes. Yes. Tawaf and sa'i, both. Yeah, that's the only sa'i that it's done in normal clothing. Otherwise, always you will have ihram because you're doing a tawaf al-umrah and after that you're doing sa'i. I see that, yes. You can change your clothing anytime during your during your ihram. But in general, you're not in a state of ihram when you're doing your tawaf al-ziyarah. Tawaf al-ziyarah is number 9. Oh, in a state of ihram, you could be. How would that be? It's actually a very good question. Sometimes, like normally solo Hujjaj and those who are kind of they just want to get it done, is that they will do their rami, and instead of going back to the camp to shave whatever, they just go straight to the haram and quickly do their tawaf, and then after that do their sa'i. So they will still be, everything would apply to them because they are still in a state of ihram. And to exit the ihram, you have to trim or shave. Whether you do it right after you have thrown your pebbles, or you do it after doing a tawaf al-ziyarah and your sa'i and everything, then you come back and then you shave. Because now you're out of the state of ihram. There is also the exit of Hajj ihram. There is a, what do you call it? Initial exit, and then there is a full exit. The initial exit of ihram is when you shave or trim, but you're still not completely out of ihram. There's one thing that is not permissible: intimacy. That will remain until you do tawaf al-ziyarah. Then you are fully out of ihram. طواف الزيارة. زيارة طواف الإفاضة and طواف الحج. The طواف of Hajj. Because that's a rukun, that's the integral part of a Hajj. So after that, now you're completely out of ihram. But after shaving, intimacy is still not permissible. Because you're still in that phase of exiting, but somehow you're still in ihram. Just from that perspective. Yeah. So I've completed everything, so if anybody has to leave, they can leave, inshallah. I'll take any questions, inshallah. In the Hanafi school, the classical texts and the classical scholars, they always said that it has to be in an order, except for one of the views that is not necessary, that it has to be rami, the pebble, rami, then nahar, meaning that then slaughter, and then halaq, and then trimming or shaving. But because of the way how the logistics are these days, it's so hard. But if someone wants to follow, they can still follow that order. First pebble, then slaughtering, and then shaving. If someone wants to follow that, you can still, because they give you a window that between, let's say between 10 and 12 p.m., your qurbani will be done. MashaAllah, you can wait until that. Like you got there, you just did your rami, you got to your camp, you're tired, and you want to kind of wait until your slaughter is done, you can just take a nap, go to sleep, and wake up, take a shower, everything empty, everybody's already done. So that's one. But you don't have to follow that particular order. It used to be very strict, but now because of the logistics, it's just very hard to kind of confirm exactly when your qurbani is done. Before people go and get the animal, slaughter it, then shave right there, and it was very organic. But yeah, you don't have to follow that order. Yeah, the mic? Yeah, if anybody needs to use the mic for asking questions, inshallah, you can ask for the mic. Yes.
There is a sa'i after Tawaf al-Qudum, and there is Tawaf al-Hajj, there is sa'i after it?
Yes.
So there are two sa'i's.
So when you did the Tawaf al-Qudum is also your Tawaf of Umrah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tawaf al-Qudum means your first greeting of the Kaaba. So that's already included in your Tawaf of Umrah. And after the Tawaf, there's a sa'i. For the Hajj Tawaf, there's also a sa'i after that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two different sa'is. Okay. One is your sa'i of your Hajj, and the first sa'i was for your Umrah.
Oh. And there is no sa'i after Tawaf al-Wada'?
No.
Okay.
No. Only those two places you do sa'i. Tawaf after the Umrah Tawaf, and then you do a sa'i, and the sa'i after your Hajj Tawaf. No. Yeah, that's correct. Any other?
The wukuf Mina for the 11th and 12th, that means like spending the night over there?
That's a good question. Do you have to spend the night in Muzdalifah? You don't have to. But if you want, but it's highly recommended to spend the night there. But if someone wants to go and leave, they could spend half of the night in Mina and then go. You asked about Mina, right?
Yeah, Mina.
Yeah, it's Mina. So yeah, you can spend half of the night and then leave. Like people they have access to their hotels during the Mina stay. So they will spend the day and come back in the evening and then spend most of the night or half of the night and then, go back. That's also fine.
So this is a really good question. So a couple things regarding this process, right? So for example, Sheikh mentioned that some folks may have a hotel. So if you have heard the term shifting and non-shifting, non-shifting means that you have access to a hotel in the haram, generally, okay? Sometimes there's access to hotel in Azizia. Either way, obviously the haram is preferred, of course. However, the Azizia portion is still, in some scenarios, a little bit more comfortable than staying in the tent, right? And therefore, let's say if you have elders or women in your family or just anyone who may need that additional comfort, that's where you would potentially take this accommodation that Shaykh Abdul Rahman is mentioning, where you spend half the night in Mina, and then you go to your Azizia hotel or your Haram hotel.
And even if someone couldn't make it for the night, don't worry too much. As long as they come and do their jamarat, the pebble, it will suffice their hajj, inshallah. Yes. Uh-huh. It's fine. It's fine. Yes. Mask is fine. It's fine. If you're using it for need because you want to protect yourself or protect others, it's totally fine. There's no penalty, nothing. If you need to put a band-aid or anything of that sort, it's totally fine. You need to get shots, you need a blood test, totally fine. It's all permissible. We're good? Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair for coming and joining us. Inshallah, we'll close the closing marks. Inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh Abdul Rahman. Again, alhamdulillah, we're so blessed to have Shaykh Abdul Rahman, who is able to really simply relate to us the rights of Hajj and everything that we need to keep in mind, making it very easy to digest. So alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh Abdul Rahman. And again, if anyone has any logistical questions whatsoever, you have me here for any logistical questions. There's Brother Saad who's here on the brother side, and I believe there is a sister on the sister side, Sister Maryam as well, in case anyone has any additional questions regarding, again, the logistics side. But of course, alhamdulillah, again, Shaykh Abdul Rahman, he's a veteran. He has covered so many of the little logistical pieces that are involved just in the rites of Hajj. So, Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Also,
barakatuh.
for the sisters, if you have any questions related to your situation, because you may have something personal questions, you can ask my wife, Salma, who's here, inshallah. For any religious questions, inshallah, you can ask her. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanallah al-azim, subhanakallahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make all of your intentions pure for Allah's sake. We ask Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept all of your good deeds, all of the things, the intentions, the ambitions that you have. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you and accept from you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this a Hajj mabrur. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow you to visit the house of Allah, to allow you to visit the house and the masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to send your greetings to him. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow you to make dua for all of us when you are there in Mecca and Medina and during your trip, during your journey. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to uplift the calamity from the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah allow and make it easy for all of those hujjaj who are coming from all over the world, from different places of the world, from those places who have very less accommodations. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them and accept every hujjah, every haji, every hajia, for every person who's involved, anyone who's helping, and all the volunteers and all these supporters and helpers. We ask Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this an opening for the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Make it easy for those who are suffering all around the world. Make it a means of rahmah for all of us and all the people who are intending to go. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the intention pure. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with barakah in the wealth, with barakah in the time, with barakah in the effort that are going to be performed over there. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.